Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your elemental energy reading for the month of January for the element of fire. This is January of 2026 already. I'm still kind of surprised by that. Anyway, fire covers the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And if you've never had your charts read and you're curious about what your elemental alignment might be, there's a natal chart linked in the description. It's a base birth chart for all the zodiac stuff, but Llewellyn has a section in there, it's about 1 to 2 paragraphs, that goes through your elemental alignment. Usually you have 2 dominant elements and then 2 lesser elements, and it tells you how that interaction plays out within your chart. It's kind of an interesting way of looking at a birth chart, so if you've never had one read, that's a good spot to start. With that, we will get started with your I-ching to get everything kicked off for the month of January. And fire, you have I-ching number 30, hexagram 30, and the title of this is Flaming Beauty, which is great because you're fire. The text says, Flaming beauty, righteous persistence brings reward, success, rearing cows, good fortune. When they say rearing cows, it's not rearing up, it's actually like raising cows. So overall, this month of January looks like it's going to be a pretty positive month for our fire family. And with the righteous persistence, this is where you're staying true to your morals, your ethics, the core values of who you are, and that's what's going to help push you forward. It's not bending to the will of, well, so-and-so does it this way, so you should do it that way. That's for so-and-so. You're not that person, so you get to make your own path as long as you're staying true to those values, which are in alignment with God's source and spirit. So let's look at our bottom line here, our foundational line. Approaching with reverent steps, he pays them his respects, no errors. So if you're approaching or having to go to someone for assistance, guidance, help, fill in the blank, it's best to do so from a position of humility and gentility. You don't want to come in being like, you have to show me how to do this. That person's not going to be receptive to that in the slightest. But this is saying when you approach with reverent steps, quietness, honorable, being humble in how you're approaching it, there's no error in that. So you definitely want to make sure as you go through this month that you're remembering, no matter how far you get, no how big your situation becomes, there's always that aspect of humility that we play with, and that's what's being brought forward here. Our second place line, yellow sunlight, sublime good fortune. And so this is not being too hot, not being too cold. You're basically following the middle pillar, if you follow the Golden Dawn practice, which is this center between severity and beauty. You're walking a path of holding elements in their courses. So you're not the one being hyper aggressive here, fire. You're getting to walk in grace and dignity because you know how to walk in neutrality. Not the most easy thing to do, but you have this energy coming in this month. Your third place line, in light of the setting sun, young men do not beat upon their cooking pots or sing. The old sigh piteously, misfortune. In the light of the setting sun, young men do not beat upon their cooking pots or sing. The old sigh piteously, misfortune. So if something is coming to a close, this is not a time for celebration. That's what they're saying here, because as the sun is setting, something is coming to a close. There could be a relationship, it could be an employment, there's something that might be coming up. This doesn't apply to everybody, obviously, it's general readings, but there's something for some of you that is going to be coming to an end, and it's saying don't celebrate it, but also don't mourn it, because that's where the old sigh piteously, misfortune. So if you celebrate, not so great. If you're miserable about it, not so great. This is one of those things where, it happens. It could be just because you had to leave one job for another. You might miss the job, but they're saying don't mourn it and don't celebrate it. So it's just let it go. And our fourth place line, how sudden it's coming, the then with flame-like swiftness it is dead and cast away. So whatever is changing is going to happen pretty quick. It's not going to dilly-dally. It's not going to play around. It's going to happen. It's going to like rip a band-aid off. It's going to happen really quick. It's going to hurt in a moment, and it'll be over. And that's what they're wanting you to understand is, as that thing is ending, that setting sun energy, it doesn't mean you have to stay there. Actually, it's saying you're not going to stay there. You're going to have the experience and move on. And it's going to happen in the way where you almost forgot that happened, is what I'm getting here. So that's a good thing for fire. 5th place, his tears streamed forth as though he extinguished his piteous sighs. Good fortune. There will be a time where you have to work through some emotions, is what I'm hearing here. It's not going to be something that's like devastating, you're not going to be out mourning for days at a time. It's more of you're kind of clearing out the emotional baggage, and that may happen through tears, that may happen through however you vent off your emotions. I'm from Redneckville, so we go play with pew-pews, and that actually helps deal with a lot of our stress. But it's however it works out for you to purge out that energy and allow yourself to relax in the fact that that part of your life may be over. That situation is no longer active for you. You've put it into retirement, and that's actually a good thing. It doesn't want you to hang out there. Don't emotionally stay in that place, but process it, let it go, come to terms with it, and then once you do, you're going to move on and it'll be fine. So our capstone here for fire: the king went forth to set things to rights, and blessed by heaven and with victory, he destroys the leaders of the rebels, but he did not chastise the rebel followers, no error. As you're going forward this month, you're fixing something that's been bugging you. There's been this aspect of life, whether it's that old job moving into the new one, or it's something at your current job where it's just kind of like under your skin. You want to fix this because you know it's not right. And that's what you get to do this month. And blessed by heaven with victory, you basically take out the problem. You take out the head of the snake. That doesn't mean you go after the people who are following, because a lot of those people, or whatever was going on behind the scenes, they may not have even realized what this person was doing or what this situation was coming to a head with. So it's really wanting to remind you that you've moved from a place of passivity into the king position, which is pretty powerful. And with that, you've gained wisdom and knowledge. So this entire month for fire is going to be a lot of growth, a lot of shifting. There's definitely going to be a period for some of you, not everyone, where you have to let something go, and it might be, others may assume that you're going to feel emotional there, and this message is saying, don't go there in the moment. Let it go through the situation, and then after the fact, evaluate, let yourself feel, and exist in that position. So, with that, we'll hop over to our tarot. If you're new here, like, comment, subscribe, all those fun little things. I am just taking a peek at my calendar real quick because I forgot to look at that. For how many weeks we have in January? We are, it's about 4.5, so we'll just go ahead and do 5. Each week we look at a guide or guardian, a message from source, and then a little more clarification from the tarot. All of the cards I use are linked in the description down below, so feel free to check those out as we move forward. And we're going to start you off with your first guide or guardian, and this is an energy that helps support you through the week or guard you from the chaos of the week. Sometimes they bring in lessons. We have number 33. That's a good way to start the month. With Hearn, which is one of the forest spirits. We're working with a deity here that's bringing in an aspect of mystery, but also fertility and growth. With this energy coming in this first week, it's saying you don't have to know all the details. You don't have to know every step. Understand that you have power beyond what you realize. You have abilities that may be secret to others, but you know you have them. Fire, you sneaky little one, you are able to do a lot more, but you're doing so in the most basic sense. We're dealing with very primal energy this first week, and it's really helping you understand more about yourself and not so much what the world expects of you. Fire, you're not going to be following anyone else's plan this month. Your I-ching pretty much was like, you're not doing what everyone else is expecting, and that's a good thing. And Hearn coming in is supporting this energy in the first part of the month. Your message from Source, positive assurance, affirmation, things like that. We have the King Tide. It King's in your I-ching as well. Plenty, prosperity, receiving the fullness of life. I'm not sure how this card set's going to show up. Well, it's pretty good. With the King Tide energy, this is saying this is your time to shine. This is your time to rise, but you're doing so in that primal state. You're doing so in alignment with your highest self. The dude's standing here, but you can also see there's somebody supporting him above as well. So you're tying your higher self into the physical because you're stepping onto the earth. You are holding everything in balance, and that is also an energy that comes in with Hearn a little bit. Not a lot, but there is that aspect because you're working with all the energies, not just your own this first week. Your message from the tarot is the Five of Michael. This situation doesn't serve you. Release attachment to the outcome. Consider taking uplifting approaches. So if this is where you're having that moment of shifting and change in this first week, Michael's coming in to say, let's cut some cords. Let's clear some stuff out. If that doesn't apply to you, this is your time to choose a better worldview. Look at things from the higher perspective. Think of the Hanged Man, where you're looking at things from a different perspective because something just ain't right. But with Hearn and the King of Tide, it's saying you're the one who gets to make these decisions. You're the master of your destiny, especially this first week. So you're setting yourself up for success in the very first week of the month, going through January. And Michael is coming in with this Five of Michael energy saying, don't forget, if you need to clear stuff out, this is how we're going to do it. And with Michael in that aspect, it's definitely going to be what works best for you. It's not going to be something that, me on the internet's going to say, this is what you should do. It's work with your guides and guardians and see if you have something you need to or want to clear out, how do they advise you to clear it out? It could be a cord cutting. It could be, writing that letter and burning it into ash and grinding the ash, throwing it to the wind, whatever. There's a lot of ways you can release this stuff, and working with your guides is the best way to figure out which one's going to align with you better. Your second week's guide or guardian is number 7, Magick and Manifestation 33-7. You've got some power numbers coming in here, Fire. Magick and Manifestation dragons come in to show you how to visualize, put energy into emotion, build it into something you see yourself in, and then draw it down into the physical. The first week was showing you what tools and what abilities and what maybe needs to be moved to make space, but this second week is where you really start to shift things into high gear. You are going to start focusing on, how do I take this thought, add emotion to it, I feel that I have it, and following your guidance from your guides, your guardians, everything intuitively, that is going to show you the next steps into leading into a more fulfilled life. And these two dragons are not so much the manifestation ones, because they're working just to help bring it into reality, but the Magick ones can be a little tricky because they want you to make sure you're ready for it. So they might show you bits and pieces, and you may pull back, and they're like, you're not quite here yet, but we'll work with you. So be aware that everything in this second week could definitely be a little bit of push and pull, but it's not negative. It's testing to make sure you're ready for this. And that's the energy that's coming in. And when you look at the two dragons, they're kind of doing the same push-pull themselves. But Manifestation is ready to bring it down, and Magick's like, we're getting there. Let's make sure they're ready. So, moving into our message from Source, we have the Water Oracle. Psychic abilities, following your intuition, acting on visions, and it is destined. You're going to succeed at what you're planning. It's going to happen. You may not know the exact time, because the universe has its own time frame, and time really doesn't exist if we're looking at that perspective. But with the Oracle, it's touching into your intuition. This is where you get to act on those next steps. You get to act on your vision. But the first week was saying, let's get clear understanding what we're bringing into this to start it. The second week is saying, now that you understand what tools you have and where you may need to grow, the Water Oracle is here to show you the path forward. Are you going to see the whole thing? Probably not, just to be blunt. You're going to see the obvious next steps. And in some cases, you're going to be taking these steps, you're going to be wandering this path, and you're not going to feel like it's very magical. Because it's such a common thing. It's such a mundane thing, like, ugh, just going to work, I'm doing my thing, I'm doing all the paperwork for the new business, or I'm filling out the paperwork for whatever. It's just going to feel very mundane, but I'm hearing, Fire, this is how the universe is going to show you its true power and your true abilities. Because you're going to look back by the end of this month and be like, wait a minute, how did that all happen? Because you're not looking at the big picture. You're not looking at how many steps you have to take. You're looking at the next step. And so it's going to feel very mundane. And then when it finally manifests, you're going to look back and go, wait a minute. Because you're going to realize just how much actually happened. Your message from the tarot is number 13, Peace, with Archangel Azrael. This is the death card in traditional tarot. Releasing the past, there's a more enriching future coming. Let go, let God. This is where you get to align with your higher self. This second week is really saying tap into the highest aspect of yourself. If there's something that's in the way, if there's something that you're just like, what do they call that in a lot of the Christian churches? Your secret sin. This is the time to release that, because you have a better future. There's no point in carrying that baggage around with you. Azrael comes in to help you release this stuff. Sometimes he's not the most pleasant angel to deal with because he's very cut and dry. I will say that. I've worked with Azrael before. It's very cut and dry. But it's for your best interests. It's not saying he's coming in to be mean. He's coming in to be honest. He's that friend who's not going to let you delude yourself. And that's the energy that's coming in the second week. So it's time to really focus, get clear on what your goals are in the second week of January, and then start taking those next steps. And again, you may not even feel like you're doing anything. It may not even feel like it's a magical process. But if you look at the term magic, as Aleister Crowley loved to talk about it, and how I have added it to my repertoire and lexicon, magic is change in accordance with will. When you apply that divine will, that divine aspect where you're visualizing, you're working with your guides, you're taking the steps, the change occurs, and it's a magical experience because it wouldn't have occurred if you wouldn't have put your will towards it. So that's this message in the second week. Our third week is number 9, again, power number. We have courage. And with courage comes confidence, but you have to start. And that's where you're being called to step forward. With this energy of courage, it's even if you're not confident in the moment now, if you have the courage to say, I'm willing to take these next steps and I'm willing to step into the world, I'm willing to step up and do the thing, the universe will guide you. The universe is going to work with you. The dragons of courage are they're very intense, they're very big, but it's because they're helping you become big. They want you to feel the strength that you actually possess. All that energy you built in the first week, this third week, it's now time to put it into action. The second week was getting more clear. This is a week of action. This is a time to take steps. Even if you were taking steps in the second week, this week there's going to be a little bit more of the pushback from others, and that's where the courage, do you have the courage of your convictions? Do you have the courage to say, I don't care, I mean I do care, but I don't care about what your opinion is on what I'm doing with my life. I'm going to do the thing that I'm doing right now. And that's the energy that you're getting here, is a really strong sense of self, but being okay with people pushing back against that. It's not the most easy thing. Your message from Spirit is the ripple effect, part of something bigger. Details are taken care of. When we push back, when we stand in our authority, this is us, we are allowing ourselves to ripple into the universe. When you take a stand, Fire, and you say, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, I'm working with aligned states, I'm working with my guides and guardians, it triggers a ripple effect, and it may not even be something you notice. You might, But if you are standing and someone's pushing against you and you're like, no, this is what I'm doing. I see the path ahead. I know where I'm going. That's not for me. It's going to ripple out. And you standing in your courage is going to show others that they can do it too. You're going to be able to step into this position of leadership, whether you realize it or not, because you're willing to do the hard things. You're willing to say the hard things. You're willing to stand up and be seen. Even when other people are pushing against you and it might feel like, am I going to fail? Well, that's up to you. Because if you stand true to your core values that you've been working with God's source on, you might not have the position you had, but you're going to have a better one, because you're going to be able to do it with truth and honesty. And that's what's coming in, is this ripple effect. Your choices in this third week, your decisions, are going to ripple out into your future, but you're also going to be supporting and affecting other people's way of doing things. Your message from the tarot is number 1, the Magician with Archangel Raziel. You can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. This is your action into physicality. And with this energy, it's reminding you, yes, you're stepping up. Yes, you have to show the courage. And when you do, remember your skills and talents, fire. Don't just put those on the back burner like, okay, yeah, I've got those. I figured out what it was in the first week. We're good. Not quite. You need to use them. And the second week, you're looking internally. You're getting aligned with everything, higher self, looking at next steps, planning things out. This week is the week of action. The Magician is a call to action. You have the skills, the talents, the abilities. You have the knowledge of building the house. You have the knowledge of opening the business, doing your own taxes, proposing to that person, whatever it is. You have the knowledge. Now use it. And that's really the energy that's coming in this third week is, yes, you have all that. Show the courage of your convictions. Stand up to do the right thing. And use your skills and talents and for the highest good of all others. You're using it for the highest good of you. Why not just support everyone else along the way? Sorry, that was a little intense. Your fourth week is number, 28. I hate Roman numerals. And it's Mordwin. This one is a teaching aspect is what I'm getting. I know there's a book with it too, but I go with intuition. So there's this energy of you're shifting. You're still following the middle path. You're walking the path of neutrality between severity and beauty. So you're still growing, but you're teaching. And this ties into that third week where you're standing up, the ripples of what you're doing is going into your future, but you're influencing others. This is a time where you get to have the same show the same experience to others. You're not just changing your life. The energy that's coming in this fourth week is saying, up to this point, for second, third week, you are really focusing on getting yourself lined. You're getting yourself in the zone. This fourth week is where you might start to notice, or someone might be coming to you. You might have a child who's getting into that age where they're asking 5,000 questions. You get to be the one to show the next path. You get to show the next journey. So that's why you want to make sure in that first week you're getting clear on what tools, gifts, skills you possess. The second week, you're getting clear on where you're going. You're getting all the stuff lined up. The third week was an action week where you're taking the next steps towards those goals and you're shifting your awareness, perspective, and worldview into the state of having it. This is why you had to be clear in those first 2 weeks. Is in the fourth week, this is where others are really going to be taking notice of you. The I-ching talks about how you have to overcome some of these challenges, and when you do, you take out the negative, the head of the snake, so to speak, and the rest are forgiven because they were following orders. In this aspect, you get to show them a better path when you've cleared out that. And this could be applied at work, it could be applied at home life. Apply it how it feels necessary for you, but there is this energy of teaching that's coming up in this fourth week. Your message from Source is the wellspring. What are you thirsty for? Taking care of your body, taking a breath. You also have an energy of relaxation. Source is saying you're doing all these good things. You're getting yourself into the right headspace. You're building, you're growing, you're shifting, you're changing. Now you're taking action. But don't forget, you're not just doing all this stuff to be like, I have succeeded and no one else has. You're doing this for a reason. Don't forget to take care of who you are. Take a day off from work. Go out to dinner with your spouse. Enjoy game night with the kids. Whatever it is that feeds you. This is a reminder in this 4th week as you're plowing through, because you've got a lot going on here, Fire. But as you're plowing through the week, don't forget to go back to the source of your joy, the source of your peace. Your spouse, your kids, your pup, your cat, whatever it is. Go back to that so you remember self-care. Remember the why. You're doing all the work, and it looks like you're doing great here. And the I-ching says you're going to be wildly successful with whatever it is you're putting your goals out there. But don't forget the why. Yeah, you're succeeding. It looks great on paper. But why are you doing it? That's what this wellspring is saying, is don't forget your why. And your message from the tarot. You have a lot of major arcana and a lot of power numbers. This is a good month for Fire. We have number 15, Decision. This is the Devil card. With Archangel Jophiel. Is that right, Devil? Yeah, Death and Devil. Release yourself from that which holds you back. A need to detox unnecessary worry based on lack of self-confidence. This card and this card are actually saying the same thing. Decision with Archangel Jophiel or Jophiel is saying take the time. Don't forget what brought you here. Don't forget the reason that you're doing all of this. It's not just to prove that you're a better person than, the Joneses down the street. That's not the point. You're here to do this for your spiritual development and to show others the path. But in doing so, you also have to remember that you can push and push and push and push and push. Take a break once in a while. Recover. Detox from the stress, from the worry. Allow yourself to feel the joy. Allow yourself to feel vulnerable, but also see that vulnerability as an asset. Because a lack of self-confidence kind of negates what you did in the 3rd week. So you want to make sure you're not going there. Oh, I didn't go as far as I would like to have because fill in the blank. Seriously, look how far you've actually come, though. That's the important thing here. Even when you look at the I-ching and other messages that have come through here recently, it's not the fact that you're seeing the magic happen in the moment. It's when you look back and realize, wait a minute, that shouldn't have lined up that way. But the universe was working with your higher self, and the magic happens when you're not paying attention. Your job in this month is to focus on the goal at hand, take care of yourself, and show others the right ways to do things. It doesn't mean everyone's doing it the same, but that's the beauty. There is not this is the only path. It's the right path for that person. Let's take a peek at your last week here, Fire. We'll wrap this up. If these cards would talk to me. They're being a little sticky. We have, interesting, number 20, the Lord Cthulhu. So you have a dragon and a ascended master coming in here. This is the energy of success and completion is what I'm hearing. This is the energy in this 5th week where you get to see the culmination of a part of your goal. And if your goal was a 1-month goal, you're going to see the ending of it this week, this 5th week. But if it's a long-term, year-long goal, you may not see a lot, but you're going to see that you have made progress on it. You're going to notice that as you have moved to your goals, other people have shifted with you. This energy that's coming in for this 5th week is really wanting you to understand it doesn't matter what others think. It's how your life experiences happen. As you have went through the month of January, you've come to the energy of peace, you've come to the energy of understanding, and you've come to the energy of manifestation. It's not going to be an easy path all the time. It's going to be a fulfilling path. Even through your challenges, you will be able to enjoy, embrace, and live with that inner joy. Even though the outside world might be chaos, you will be able to succeed because you've done it in the short term in the month of January. That's going to help propel you through the month or through the year of 2026. So really embrace that challenge because it's a way to learn, grow, and experience. Awaken the passion within and allow it to fuel your flames, driving you to higher levels of success, of joy, of whatever exciting thing you've got going on. And in doing so, you're going to warm others and they're going to follow you or follow in your footsteps. Your message from Source is into the unknown, underworld depth, courage facing your fears. Universe is really wanting you to embrace this. It doesn't matter what is going on. You don't have to see the entire path ahead. You have the goal, the final destination, the thing that you're looking for, the end game, so to speak. And you know the next steps, but that's all you have to know. When you go through this month, you're going to have those ups and downs. You're going to have those times where, what am I doing? I don't understand this step. I don't get this. What's happening? And your guide's going to be sitting there going, trust me on this. You need to do this. Then we can go there. And when you look back, you're going to be like, well, by doing this, I bypassed this problem. So it may not make sense in the moment. It will in the future. Into the unknown is saying you don't have to know every step. You have the goal is in mind, fixed. You know the step in front of you. Do that. And when that step is done, do the next step. It is going to be a challenge, and it's going to take some courage to be okay with this. But Fire, I know you have it in you. You've got the ability to change pretty much everything in your life. And that's where you're coming in this month, is reminding you of that. You have this authority. It's no one else's job to take it away from you or dictate to you in that respect. You're the one who makes the decisions for yourself. If you're in a job where you have a boss and stuff like that, you obviously have rules you have to follow. But you're the one who gets to decide if you stay or leave. You get to decide if you're applying for that promotion or not. You're the one who has a lot more say in your life than you realize. And good grief. This is 4 major arcana cards that you've got. Is number 12, it's perspective with Archangel Kamael. There is a better way, pause for reflection, and insight, dare to be different. I believe this would be the Hanged Man in traditional tarot. It is, this 5th week is where you start to shift your old belief pattern into a new one. You're changing how you've looked at things. Into the unknown, you don't have to know the whole thing, but you get to see it as it happens. When you change the perspective from fear of the unknown to curiosity, what's exciting about the mystery coming forward, Fire, it allows you to shift into the state of a perpetual exciting experience. Sometimes exciting can be terrifying, but you're ready for that. You've done the inner work. You have the guides and guardians coming in. You have so much in your favor this month, Fire, that you really don't have to worry. There is going to be a little bit of a call to reminder of that. Like, remember that you don't need to worry, don't need to stress. But you're going to be able to overcome that pretty quickly is what I'm seeing here. So, Fire, January and for the tarot and the I-ching are definitely saying, you've got this. There might be some ups and downs, but that's because the lessons need to be reminded, clear out some space for some, positive things to move in. But don't forget, Fire, no matter what happens, you have the skills, you have the gifts, and you have the access to God's source. So all the rest of that stuff falls into place as long as you keep that connection. With that, I will let you guys and gals go. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great month of January. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe.